If you're tuning in right now, you happen to be watching the world's truest source for hip hop news, black culture, sports, and of course the best reaction videos on the net. I'm talking about Kofi's Universe. If you haven't already subscribed, it's your chance to hit that button now before I hit this blunt. Bada.
YouTube, salute. King Kofi is back once again. We have a special guest on the channel. This artist right here, he's requested by so many people on my channel. They love him. The first time I heard him was on a bonus hidden track on IT album. And I was like, who is this artist? And I was like, wow, he got some skills. Okay. And I kept hearing him on different mixtapes and his other projects that was released in the 2000s and 2010s, if you want to say 2010s. But I know he has more projects coming. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and enemies, I know you're going to be tuned into, and the trolls, the one and only Diabolic.
Peace, peace.
First thing first, man, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Kofi's Universe. We want to say thank you. And I just wanted to let you know, when I do the interview, I am a fan first, but this is also for just the subscribers, giving them like some bonus, like a thank you to them because they support me. They always watching the content, everything I do. So me just having interviews on the channel is only not just for me, but it's for them because they love not just your music, but the artists on the channel. They love everybody. So this is always a great chance to know more about the artists besides listening to them. It gets another side of them. Just wanted to let you know that. So thank you for joining us today on your busy schedule that you could be doing so many other things.
I appreciate it. No, thank you for having me. It's I mean, I have no problem talking to people and just getting in touch with different groups of people that come to check for music and content and all that.
Okay, cool. Before we get started, I just want to say shout out to all my subscribers that's around the world. The top 20 countries we have that's on the analytics. We have, of course, the US is number 1. We have Canada. We have the UK. We have South Africa. We have New Zealand. We have Australia. We have Brazil. We have the Bahamas. We have South Korea. We have the Philippines. We have Kenya. We have Dubai. We have Switzerland. We have so many countries, Belize, Costa Rica, Mexico is catching up in there now. Barbados is still there, Jamaica. The list goes on and on and on, but I just want to shout out those subscribers in those top countries for showing love and support that actually subscribe to this channel and that's always showing love. So salute to y'all. Before also we get started with the questions, how are you feeling, man, in 2021 coming in from 2020? Just want to hear from you.
I feel good. I'm a little bored, to be honest with you. Okay. It's been a weird year, you know, as I'm sure everybody's experienced. Little redundant, kind of feel like I'm running on a treadmill, you know, or like a little the gerbil wheel kind of deal. Got a lot of music done though, you know, because last year when everything got weird around March, I had never really recorded myself much. I always went out to the studio. I always liked to go, but they started shutting schools down and doing everything we were all experiencing. And I decided to install a studio in my crib. So I definitely got a lot done, but it's been an odd time for everybody. And I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I imagine other people that are creating for a living, it gets a little difficult, you know, to find inspiration because you kind of pull from the world when you go out and experience things and meet people and compete within whatever industry you're in. And you're really not face to face with a whole lot of people compared to how it was, you know, even a year and a half ago. So it's been a little bit of a struggle that way, just finding different places to pull creatively. But other than that, you know, these are small problems, really, you know, for an artist.
Okay.
Could be a lot worse. But yeah, I'm doing good though. I can't complain.
Okay, that's all I care about, man. I'm glad you're doing good, in the right space, and especially what's going on in this world right now. That makes me feel good, not just for me, but for your fans and everybody else that's going to watch this. So that's a great thing. The first question: Long Island, New York. We have some prominent rappers from that city. We talking about leaders of the new school, Busta Rhymes. We talking about so many people that come from, Long Island. You are from Long Island, right? Born and raised?
Yeah, Huntington Station, which is like halfway in. You got two counties, like Brooklyn and Queens is attached to Long Island, but they're part
I
of
didn't
New
know
York
that.
City. Yeah, they're the end close to New York City. And then you got Nassau County and Suffolk County. I'm like right in the middle. I'm right on the borderline in the middle of it all.
Okay, because the last time I went to New York, this was probably like 7-8 years ago. I only went towards Manhattan area because I was supposed to go to the Bronx and meet my cousin, but change of plans. I had to take care of some stuff at that time with my ex-girlfriend. But yeah, I'm glad that's over. But anyway, though, when I do come back to New York one day, I definitely want to go through all the boroughs and just take just go see the scenery. But how was it growing up in Long Island? I mean, just over there.
Long Island, I mean, it's it's like highly populated suburbs, like the town I'm from, it's got over 200,000 people. So, it's very populated. It's not like you're living in the sticks or anything. It's kind of like a little more of a spaced out version of Queens, more or less, where I'm at. And it was good. You got good schools around here. You got, where I'm at, it's a little bit of a hood, but middle class hood, lower middle class type of hood. Working class people, a little bit of crime, but generally not too bad of a place to raise kids in. It's pretty good.
Okay, no problem. Thank you for telling me that. Because I always, was just curious, to know about Long Island.
Very expensive to live in, though.
Oh,
very
wow.
Expensive. Okay. You're out west. You know what I'm talking about. It's very
because it is out here, especially in California. Well, yeah. I can't say all California, but like the major cities, especially Los Angeles and San Francisco, is very expensive to live.
Right, and then you get into the burbs of them. It's like rent, and you get a 1-bedroom apartment. It's like $1,800. It's outrageous. Sometimes.
Damn.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, you want to rent a house out here? It's like $3,200, $3,300 for a house just to rent. Property taxes through the roof. It's crazy because they sell it as you're 15 minutes from New York City when you're not. You know what I'm saying? You're an hour train ride, which isn't bad if you're commuting. But, driving, no traffic, maybe 40 minutes, but there's never no traffic. You know what I mean? So you're at least an hour drive from the city with a lot of headaches on the way. So,
okay.
But it's a good place to live, though. It's a good place to live if you can manage to get by financially,
Okay. Shout out to everybody living in Long Island that's sub to the channel, man. So salute to y'all out there. Y'all making it happen for sure. What made you start rapping? I'm curious about that.
I'm thinking like I had an older brother. He's like, 5-6 years older than me. And, they were into like, I'm thinking what era that was, like Public Enemy, NWA, Ice-T, Black Sheep, like that late 80s, early 90s, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim. They were into that stuff. And I would just, I was a kid, I'm like, I was a little kid. So I was about 10 years old, maybe. I mean, even before that, but around 10 years old, I started, just jacking his tapes and listening to stuff. And I liked it. He was into heavy metal and shit like that too, Guns N' Roses, all that stuff. And that really it just didn't do it for me. And then I started listening. Really, Black Sheep was the first thing I got into heavily, where I was like, oh, this shit is dope. Engine, Number. And I always loved it.
That was my shit.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I don't know, maybe junior high, I started writing little shitty raps. And they were bad, they were terrible. But I liked to write stuff. So I was like, I just keep writing my little raps. And I got into graffiti real heavy. And I got real good at doing burners and stuff. I got good at writing graffiti. And then a couple of my friends, they were rapping. And my boy Chris, that I grew up with, he just started rapping, right? He wrote a rhyme, and he was nice. From the first rhyme he ever wrote, he was dope. He could rap good. He had a good delivery. He had a good voice. He was just nice. And then we just all started kind of kicking our little garbage raps to each other, except for him. He was good. From the time we was about 13, 14 years old, he was good. And we just kept going with it. And then, you know, I remember he made me freestyle. I couldn't freestyle very good, you know, but he just kept saying, nah, your vocabulary is crazy. You just got to keep going, keep fucking up, but keep going. And then after that, once I learned how to freestyle, I actually learned how to rap. You know, like I could always write pretty good lines. Like from the first rhymes I was writing, I was combining words, like doing 2-3 syllable rhymes. I could always just kind of connect the words and come up with something, you know, quasi clever to say, but I couldn't rap. I didn't know how to rap. I didn't have a style. I didn't know what I was doing. But once I learned how to freestyle a little bit, and then what comes with the high school is the girls are impressed by it. You know, and you rap at a party and the girls are impressed by it, and you know, they might want to touch your penis. So you're like, this is for me, you know what I'm saying? You know, I like this, the girls like it, so I'm into it. And then you keep going, and then I kind of got really into the craft of it as you hit 15, 16 years old. I was listening to a lot of like you know, college radio and getting into underground stuff. And, you know, we would just, you know, we were hanging out a lot. So we would just cipher and spit on new rhymes. And, you know, we're desperately trying to figure out a way to record them. So we, you know, rapping into headphones and trying to do our thing. But, you know, then it just progressed from there. You know, as I got a little older, I was maybe a senior in high school. I finally got myself into a studio, you know, with ADAT tapes and all that stuff. And then I just kept going, just kind of progressed. I don't know. It just started out as something fun. You know, you don't really take it serious. It was a pipe dream, really, to think you're going to get a record deal or blow up or anything like that. And then you start going to studios, and I started meeting people who had some indie success. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's a little more up my alley. You know, I get to do what I want and kind of go from there. And then I feel like, you know, when I was about 19 years old, 18, 19, I kind of like, I had like a breakthrough sort of with my writing and my songwriting and understanding choruses and just my whole style of rapping. I had kind of like, you know, jumped a level. And then I started taking it more serious because I started honestly getting more props where people were like, this guy's nice. You know, I was battling people and I was really shredding people, and just kind of went from there. You know, started trying to meet other artists and producers and DJs, and just kind of moved on from there.
Okay, for sure. No, thank you. That's interesting, and I'm glad you did make it, because it's, you know, I know it's a hard thing to do. That's why I always tell people, like, the people that made it, it's a blessing, because it's people that you probably know that didn't get a chance, they didn't get the opportunity.
Yeah, a lot. Like really talented kids. Mm-hmm. You know, either they took a wrong turn, maybe ended up in jail or something, or they got jobs and just gave up. Mm-hmm. You know, like I really, honestly, I'm lucky I ended up in the spot I'm in. I'm very lucky, because like when I kind of got like a little following going, I was about, I don't know, 20, 21. I had a newborn daughter. You know, my daughter, she's now a junior in college, but at the time she was a little baby. And, you know, we were out there, we were trying to do stuff locally. And, you know, I was meeting all kinds of artists in Long Island, but I wasn't really, I wasn't aware that I could just go to the city and battle. You know, like I didn't know I could just go to the wetlands and get into a battle and meet people that I kind of heard of already, that had indie records out. I just didn't know. Nobody ever really put me on. Then I was working this shitty job in a kitchen, and I ended up at my boy Abe's house. And this is the early internet, you know, it's like 99, you know, he was chatting in AOL chat rooms trying to pick up girls. And this girl from Brooklyn said she could get me into a battle at the wetlands. And he said to me, he's like, yeah, you want to go to Manhattan, go to the wetlands and battle? And I was like, hell yeah. So we went to the battle, and the girl couldn't get me in the battle. She was full of shit. So I went up to the door, and the guy doing the door who had thrown the event was Poison Pen. And that's the first time I met Poison Pen. We end up, you know, I'm still friends with him to this day. And, you know, we did tons of touring and all that stuff with Technique. We did all that, you know, later on. But he was at the door, and he was one of the people throwing the event, him and this chick, Mahogany Brown. And they did these like bi-weekly events called Decipher. the cipher battles at the wetlands. And I just went up to the door and I was like, yo, you put me in this battle, I'll body everybody here. And he laughed. He's like, oh, yeah? I was like, yo, I'm saying, put me in this battle. I'll destroy people. Little did I know he wanted artists. He needed like new battlers. He needed people that, you know, to keep these battles going, you know? And he had heard of me from, I had friends that had battled in these things that were like, yo, you got to hear my man. You got to hear my man. But I just didn't know. I just didn't know that it was going on. And I went into that battle that night, totally unknown. And I fucking bodied everybody there.
Wow.
Everybody. And I mean, that's how that night I met Immortal Technique. I met pretty much everybody that I know to this day that night from New York's underground scene. And I went from being a nobody to winning that battle and having a name in the New York underground battle scene out of nowhere, just out of left field, because I did real well. And then anybody who won, like the people that came in the finals of those battles went to this like big battle where everybody from the weekly battles battled for like supremacy basically. And I went to that, the second battle I ever did. I won. I beat Jin in the finals, and then I had a name. And you know, Technique had reached out to me through a friend and was like, yo, I'm putting together this album. I want to get your man Diabolic on it. You think he'd do it? And I told my boy, I was like, yeah, tell him to call. I gave him my number. He called it was my mom's house at the time. Called my mom's house, and we just talked over the phone, and he was like, yo, I'm doing it. Can you get out to Manhattan this weekend and record? I was like, yeah. And that's when we did the hidden track. And that's, next thing you know, we had this, you know, that album did pretty well. I had this little buzz going from a hidden verse, and at the end of the Dance with the Devil song that kind of put Tech on the map. And it just kind of snowballed, you know, really just kind of snowballed from there, you know. Only took a couple of the right moves, whereas like I was making a bunch of the wrong ones, couldn't get anywhere, recording songs in studios, it was way too expensive. Then next thing you know, I had a name, and then just kept working from there and doing my best to kind of get my shit off.
Wow. I mean, I love it. I love hearing this story. And shout out to IT, man, Immortal Technique, man. Woo. And I know he got that new album coming out too, the Middle Passage. I can't wait to hear that too. That's beautiful right there. You linking up with IT, which, you know, he's very popular on this channel, just like you too. So that's great. You are similar to, when it comes, as you have a different rap style, don't get me wrong, but you are one of those rappers I put in the category. It's a great thing when we have IT. We also can have Brother I Leave. I can even say Dead Press. I can say Lupe Fiasco, even Styles P, you know, because he's always been more about the conscious rap. You know, Killer Mike. There's rappers out here that will touch on the American politics that sometimes a lot of rappers will shy away, or they'll just kind of like gloss over it. Yeah, I'll say something and leave it alone. But you are a rapper that don't mind speaking out and saying something. What made you want to say, you know, I'm going to touch on this subject that maybe some people don't want to touch on it too much?
I mean, I had read a few books early in high school, you know, that kind of made me a little more aware than my peers at the time. You know, like I read Behold the Pale Horse, and I was like, whoa, you know, that they like knocked my head off, you know, and I was like, and then I read a few more. I read Thomas Sowell book. I read a few things, and I felt like I needed to tell people because nobody knew what the fuck I was talking about, you know? And, you know, I mean, I haven't done that much political music. Like I'll make references, but I mean, I try not to do too much of it because I didn't want to get totally, you know, immersed and painted into that corner. But I've done enough to make it clear, like, you know, I have some shit to say about these things, you know, and especially being associated with Technique because he does a lot of it, you know. And I mean, I always felt like if we don't talk about these things, we're doomed. You know, if the artists and the people out there aren't willing to, you know, kind of use the art form to kind of get through to people and make them listen to topics that they wouldn't generally go digging for, you know, because politics is not a fun thing. You know, you know, conspiracies and global politics and the things that affect you negatively on a daily basis, these are not fun things to talk about. People don't want to generally get involved in them because they're miserable. Mm-hmm. So if you can make it fun and you can make it interesting through song lyrics, things they got to analyze, they're more liable to go and dig through them and kind of be, it's kind of like lubricating the entry for them a little bit. Then they can go down the rabbit hole and figure it out and drive themselves insane from there, Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I like the way how you touch on it though, because you have your own twist, which makes me, intrigued. Like, oh wow, he got a different way, a different lane. So I always say thank you. I mean, I know you have other songs besides that, which is always catchy. You bring, the comedian side to everything, which is good, and we love that. Who is Diabolic away from the mic?
I'm just dad mostly. Okay. I do a lot of dad stuff, mostly. I mean, my days consist of this week they're off, but just getting my son going for school, doing shit around the house. I got a couple side businesses that I run that kind of run themselves.
Okay.
And all legal though, nothing illegal. Thinking, I'm just somebody's dad mostly. I'm mostly dad, I don't really, it's a young man's game getting out and about, you know what I mean?
That's right.
Got enough of that shit,
That's right. Shout out to all the entrepreneurs out there, especially you and all the fathers stepping up to take care of their families, because society, especially in America, propaganda don't want to show that. We know why, but it's good to see strong alpha males there.
Yeah, indeed, man. It's gotten weird. It's definitely weird. Yeah, I mean, that gets into a little bit more of a political propaganda discussion. Mm-hmm. They want weak men. They want weak men because weak men are easy to control. Facts. If you beat down the male population, you have no one to defend the population at all. So, it's pretty easy to understand. You tell people that are what, quote unquote normies, these type of things, they think you're fucking insane, but it's a tale as old as the world itself. They try to take out the strong, the ones that'll defend, the women and the children and the weak part of the tribe. They try to take you out first. Nowadays, they don't come at you with guns. They come at you with things to beat you down mentally and make you run before they even get there. So it's unfortunate, but it's the world we live in,
Facts. I read an article and it talked about, now I want you to jump in and, and let me know what's going on. Tyler, the creator, did he make a diss record going towards Immortal Technique or you, and you responded back?
Well, I responded to it. He had said some slick shit, about Technique. I forget what song it was. I forget the name of his song, but he said something, I don't listen to Immortal Tech of the Neek, and he just, it was like mocking him, kind of like, I don't listen to that bullshit. I'm into this other shit. He was talking about how he listens to I don't listen to Immortal Tech. He said Tech of the Neek, and I listened to Pusha the T, and it was kind of like playing Tech. I took that shit as a shot. And Tech was like, I don't know if I should get involved with these kids. And I was like, fuck all that, So I just took the kid's beat and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to air them out. I'm just going to air them out, let our fans know that we're paying attention and just let them have it. But it seemed to do good. It made the rounds on the internet. Kids seemed to like it. His fans fucking hated it. Just talk mad shit, which I enjoy. They couldn't stand it. They're like, fuck you, man. He's more successful. Well, I don't give a fuck. Who cares?
What you gotta do?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing A-okay. I get mine. I don't sit here and compare myself to nobody. I'm just doing me. So.
You know what? I'm going to ask you a question right now. I'm glad you just said that. Define success. Your definition of success. Because when you have these rappers or these trolls fans, no disrespect to fans, but even we got trolls out here, automatically they think because you got a Bentley and a big ass mansion, you're successful more than a person that might even have 5 houses or have some property and just maybe just be so quiet. They're not even trying to live that type of lifestyle. So automatically thinking, oh, since they got that, they're more successful. I want you to jump in on that, please.
I mean, it's all subjective. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to have $1 billion laying around so I could buy some toys and stuff. Who wouldn't? You know, it would buy you a lot of freedom, but it would also come with a lot of problems as well. But you know, everybody, that's like making the NBA. It's not in the cards for everybody. I said this to somebody the other day. I was like, some of us go and play over in Europe. Some players go and play in China. They don't make the league. You know what I mean? Some of them end up playing in some small time shit just to keep playing, and they make a living doing it. It's all subjective. It's about what you want. With that said, like, even if I had $1 billion, I'd probably be doing the same thing I'm doing right now, just with nicer equipment in a bigger house with a fucking pool. I'd be doing the same shit. I wouldn't turn down an interview with you. I would still do that. I'd still make my little rap songs. I'd still do my thing. I might have a boat in the back. I might have a nicer fucking car. I might have a Lamborghini just to play with, some quads, whatever, who knows? But these are just things. These are just items. You know what I mean? I'd be trying to raise my kids. I'd just be getting them into school, making sure they turn out to be decent fucking people, making sure I save some money for them. Same thing I'm doing now, making sure I have my affairs in order. You know, I feel like I succeeded. I get to do underground hip hop for a living, and I do okay. I'm not hurting. I'm not rich, but I'm doing fine. I'm comfortable. I have more than I need. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's really subjective. Some people crave that attention. They crave the most amount of eyes on them, and the diamond necklace and the gold teeth and the $1,500 t-shirt. You know, they crave these things and think that, you know, money and items identify success. Well, maybe if that's what that person is happy doing, sure. If that's what makes them happy. But I don't know if people notice this, but a lot of rich, famous people are fucking miserable with fucking heroin problems and fucked up kids, and their lives are fucked up. They just have a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of fame, but they have these fucked up, miserable lives, you know? So they're clearly not happy. So it's not always what equates to happiness and success, you know? It's, you know, I know people who are fucking broke as fuck right now, struggling, have shitty jobs. They're happy as can be. They got a roof over their head. They're happy. Their kids are in school. They're alive. They're eating. They're good to go. So they're succeeding. Could they use a little bit more money? Sure. But you can always go get money, you know?
I agree. There's a rapper. His name is Akala from the UK. You probably heard of him before. Akala is a conscious rapper. Super, super dope. You know, very intelligent. I remember on this freestyle, it was called Fire in the Booth. I think it was part 1. It was on the Fire in the Booth, Charlie Sloth. And Akala said, you rappers brag about the jewels, but I own a library. And he really owns a library. Like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all, to me, I feel like, you know, you can show off the glamour and the glitz, but that's not really making you happy, because it's really the insecurities you're still dealing with. Because success, to me, this is my personal opinion, you can have somebody like in Thailand with a farm that have harvest and cattle in a nice house. They like, we're healthy, we're successful. Like, and you can't say that's not successful, because, like I said, we're Americanized. It's like, oh no, that's not successful. You need a mansion. You need, like, get out of here, man. I hate when people think that.
Not everybody's gonna get a mansion, man. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's gonna win the lottery. It's not, you know, I'm comfortable. I got a place to live. I got enough money to eat. My kids are doing fine. I'm putting my daughter through college off the back of underground hip hop. It's like, what more can I ask for? I got to spend the past 20 years doing something I loved. And there were struggles. Don't get me wrong. There was definitely trial by fire in a lot of cases. And there was times where I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Should I do something different? And you know, it was like anything. You got to work hard and get where you're going. But eventually I got where I was going and I figured it out. And I mean, what's not succeeding about that? What's not successful? My family's doing well. You know, I've had times where friends of mine were hard up and I've loaned them money off of underground fucking hip hop records. You know what I'm saying? Where I was able to be the guy that helped them. You know what I'm saying? So what's not successful? You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't understand that. What, you need $1 million and a fucking flying car to be successful? Is that what we need now? What do I need? I need to get a diamond implanted in my fucking forehead. You know what I mean? Make a
like
spectacle of
Vision from
myself.
Marvel.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for even answering that question I asked you, and shout out to everybody that's viewing this. Man, don't let nobody tear you down, and don't let people on social media when they flaunting their money and material items. That's cool. Let them do that. But you make success for what success is to you, not to them. Make yourself happy, because at the end of the day, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors, because all the money in the world is not going to get rid of the problems they dealing with. Even Biggie Small said that more money, more problems.
Of course. I mean, I knew in my town there's a high school. It's like a private Catholic school called St. Anthony's. Nice school, big time football team. Nice place to send your kids. Mm-hmm. When we were growing up, generally it's where my mother went to high school, but when she went there, it was free, right? It used to be free if you were Catholic, and but now it's like it costs a lot of money. It's like $35,000 a year. It's like college, basically. So, people that, generally you're pretty well off if you go to that school, unless you get an academic scholarship. And you find that the kids at that school were the ones with the drug problems who ended up fucked up more than the kids that didn't, more than the kids that went to public school. There was all kinds of problems in that school. And these kids grew up with all the amenities. They grew up in very nice neighborhoods. Parents had all the money. They got cars in high school that their parents bought them. Yet they weren't happy kids, man. They were not happy people. They were miserable. They were self-medicating. They were doing things that, that affected their lives negatively. So it's like all the items and material didn't really equate to happiness. There's something obviously missing. So it's very, we live in that kind of world though, especially in America. It's very material driven and kind of flashy. You flash your shit, in hip hop especially. It makes you it gives the appearance that equates to success, but it doesn't, man. It doesn't. You'd be surprised how many of these artists that have blown up end up broke as fuck. A lot like football players and shit like that. These guys that made a lot of money, give them 5 years after their time is up and they're fucking broke. Because they sat there fucking spending it on toys and flashing. How happy are they now? How successful are they then? When their time is up and their run is over.
Yeah, you definitely right about that. Definitely right. 2016. I want to shift a little. Talib Kweli. And don't get me wrong, I got love for Talib. I've been following for a long time. He came out, and like I said, I don't know too much about it. That's why I'm getting your side of. He came out with like an article, and I guess he was talking about like the hip hop industry or the game, like as far as like white rappers in hip hop industry. And I know you responded back and forth with him on Twitter. If I'm correct or not, please correct me. I don't know too much. Okay, I don't know too much about what happened, but can you give me your side? Because it's always good to hear your side. What happened?
Basically, I mean, I wasn't back then. I wasn't that big on Twitter. Like, I didn't use it. I mean, I used it. I'd fuck around on there. I'd use it to, connect to fans, promote stuff, talk shit here and there. But I wasn't a big Twitter guy. Kweli was always a big Twitter guy, always getting into it on there. I wasn't really aware of that. Like, apparently, like his antics on Twitter was a known thing. I just wasn't aware of it because I didn't pay attention. One day, my son was at his mom's visiting her, and she had called me, "Can you come over tomorrow to watch the kid?" Because she had him for the weekend. She's like, "I have to go do something. I need somebody to watch him." So I watched him. It was like 8:30 on a fucking, actually it was during the week. He was over there off from school. It was 8:30 on a Tuesday. I'll never forget it. And I'm sitting in the backyard drinking a cup of coffee, and I'm fucking around with Twitter, and I'm reading the things Kweli is saying, and he's fucking out of control. He's talking about, white rappers, this, that. Now, I didn't really know where it was coming from. And he's responding to everybody. And I chimed in and I said, why do you respond to every fucking bozo saying some shit to you? And he immediately started talking shit to me. Like immediately. It was I just said, why do you respond to every bozo who's got an opinion on here? I'll respond to who the fuck I want. You know, something like that. And I said, all right, man, whatever. And then I kept watching it. And I chimed back in. I said, I got to say, Talib Kweli, I said, yo, you're fucking out of control. You should probably fucking take a step back and check yourself a little bit, because some of the things you're saying on here are crazy, you know? And then he was like, yo, I'll fuck it. I'm paraphrasing, but he basically, he talked some shit and called me a bitch at the end of it.
Fuck that.
And I was like, yeah, I got your bitch right here. And he had just gotten off a tour with Technique and basically my whole fucking crew. And I was like, yo, homie, I was like, you just got off a tour that you yourself called the most violent tour you've ever been on. And you were scared to go back out on the road with Tech and my team. I was like, so watch your fucking mouth, B. I was like, I'm not that far from you. I'll fuck you up. Watch your fucking mouth. You know, you don't talk to people like that. You're not built like that. You're a fucking nerd is basically what I said to him on Twitter. And then it turned into like a back and forth shit talking festival for a couple hours. And it just kind of continued because I don't know if you've paid attention to it, but he's like that with people on Twitter.
No. I mean, I'm on Instagram and don't get me wrong. I love his music, but I'm still trying to figure out, because it was like a couple of months ago. And I remember he posted something. I forgot what it was. I think it was something about the Proud Boys or some shit. And I'm just looking at whatever, but it's regular people that even got like 50 followers. And you why are you arguing with me? Fuck the motherfuckers. Like, excuse me, I'm just being real. Like, dude, I mean, who you are, it's like you're giving them your energy. It's like that's what they want. It's like you're not proving nothing. At the end of the day, they're getting the kick out of you. I'm trying to figure out like what are you trying
and
to
he'll go on with it for weeks.
Yeah, for weeks.
Which is what he started trying to do with me. And he usually tries to break people, I've noticed.
Yeah.
But I am a fucking stubborn motherfucker. You're not breaking me. It's not happening. That's out of the question. And I can talk shit, you know, particularly on the internet. That's like a joke to me.
Yeah.
Like as far as having clever little replies, like I'll say some slick shit. And I just started doing it. And then I started doing it on purpose because he just kept talking shit. So I was like, I'm just going to keep poking the bear. I'm just going to keep doing it because I'm getting a response out of him and I'm laughing at him. And it just kind of went on. And then he wrote an article on medium.com. He wrote like white fragility in hip hop.
That's what it was. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Right. And I mean, I completely disagree with his fucking politics. His politics to me are fucking silly. They're nonsense. Like that whole thing. It's you know, you'll see a reply from him, even though he got kicked off Twitter. But one of his things is he would reply to people and be like, I've studied critical race theory. Critical theory is a fucking mental exercise. It is not something you're supposed to carry out of college into life. It's an exercise in analytics that you take. That's why it's an elective in college. And that's why it's also a theory. Basically, the point of critical theory, critical race theory, critical theory of any kind is you take a thing. Like here, we'll take this Budweiser. We're going to break down everything about this Budweiser, the origins of it. There's no point to it. You're just going to critique it. That's all you're doing. So he carries that in to the world and starts telling people like it's fact, you know, like the white fragility thing. And which is funny to me because all these things, they were invented in women's studies classes by white women. So I would point that out to him. I'd be like, you know, you're pushing theories that are invented by middle-aged white women. Mm-hmm. I understand they're convenient for your argument right now, but they're really not, because they were invented by middle-aged fucking white women, you know? And I always kind of felt like, all right, not to get too deep into it, but I don't think telling a generation of young black kids that there's a white boogeyman that's, you know, got invisible chains on them, holding them down, is necessarily a good idea for their psyche. I've always felt like that was fucking wrong, you know, and I always remembered, like, I played a lot of sports growing up, and football in particular. Half the team was white, half the team was black. Our coaches did not give a fuck about anything we were dealing with. If there was something in your way, you run through that shit. And I've always taken that with me through life. Just, you know, if there's something blocking you, you run through that shit. You find a way through it. and you keep going until you hear the fucking whistle, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I've carried that, and it's helped me, you know, because it's like a don't quit attitude. Whereas I always kind of felt like he was kind of selling this boogeyman. And I think a lot of people are. I think it's very convenient for people. It's an easy thing to sell. You know, it's a very easy thing to sell the boogeyman. And so I highly disagreed with his politics. And when he wrote that article, White Fragility in Hip Hop, it was more going at the dude Remedy that was from Wu-Tang. And he made mention of me. He made mention of me in that article, where he didn't really attack me as bad as other people in it, but he just kind of talked about me like I was misguided and didn't understand and this, that, and the third. And I read that nonsense and I was like, I understand completely. I was like, your politics are just fucking silly. You're bordering on being a fucking communist. You know what I mean? And there's no practical fucking application for anything you're saying. There's nothing. You know, I just didn't agree with it, which is fine. We could disagree, and you know, I don't really give a shit. But it kept going, and then I said, you know what? You want to write these fucking stupid articles now? I didn't want to. I was keeping this shit away from rap. I was like, but now I'm gonna air you the fuck out, bro. I was like, I'm gonna fucking body you now. You want to fucking write articles? I'm gonna write some raps. I'll see you in a few days. So I wrote the diss record, and I fucking destroyed him, and he didn't like that because it got a big response. And he came back with his record, which didn't do so fucking good. And after he saw the response to the two records and what people were saying about him and how I ate him, then he started calling me a Nazi and a white supremacist. It went from just some, you know, shit talking stuff, and then he went right to his go-to move when you disagree with him. White supremacist, you're a Nazi, you know? So then I just started trolling him relentlessly and being pretty vicious towards him. And you know, here we are. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. I mean, that happened between you and him and whatever. You know, these results that came from that. I mean, you know, it's okay, like you said, to disagree, and nothing wrong with that. I mean, but it's also about learning. Like, well, you know what? Let me see your side. But when you, like you said, when you're attacking other people, that's the thing. I would never want to just try to attack people like that, because there's people that probably miseducated. They're like, well, I don't know nothing about this. Well, can you inform me where you get your information from, or kind of, you know, guide me? There's people on my channel from different countries. They didn't know about the creation of Black history in this country, and I had to tell them about Carter G. Woodson and the reason why. They was like, well, you shouldn't have no Black history. I said, no, you're not understanding, because at the time it was called Negro History Week. He did this to keep the archives going, to preserve these files, because if not, it was going to be destroyed. And I said, coming out of enslavement to post-enslavement, and you have Jim Crow black holes, he's like, wow, you know, I didn't even know about this. And I said, I'm not even mad at you, because if you don't know, compared, you know, to me, I could have been like, fuck you, you motherfucker. Nah, I'm gonna do that, because if you don't know, you just don't know. You know, I have no problem explaining myself. But even if somebody still disagree with me, I'm always trying to figure out why, their background, where they coming from, so maybe I can have a better understanding. I might not have the best understanding, but it's always trying to learn from one another. No matter who you are, you have to learn from one another. Because like me, I have a bachelor's degree in Africana Studies. In my Africana Studies courses, when I was working on my bachelor's degree, we had white students in there. We had, you know, Latino students, whatever. And they would ask questions like, well, I don't understand, because they know, and there's nothing wrong. You're supposed to ask questions. You ain't supposed to just sit there and be quiet. I'd rather for somebody to ask than to be silent. To me, it's asking is better than just being quiet, because how you going to learn?
Right. Especially now. And things like, especially like racial politics in America right now is fucking ridiculous. Like, I don't know. It got to a point in the past, it's really over the past 5 years or so, where it's always been done, but it's come to, like, they really rev the fucking engines on it. And I got to the point where I got fucking tired of watching my Black friends get fucking used every election cycle. It just got so fucking tiring for me to see them get used, because I feel like they do. I mean, they just got used for this past year. I don't see how anybody could fucking deny it. They got used as stage props. They got used for protests. They got used against Donald Trump. And then the people that generally, black people do vote generally Democrat. They get into office. They're not taking the meetings with BLM. They're not taking the meetings with Ice Cube, who have practical solutions, or maybe whether you disagree or agree, it doesn't matter. These were the people using them, propping them up, using them as fucking stage props for their political agenda. Then they get in and it's like they just wash their fucking hands of them. And I got tired of watching it. And I'm like, yo, maybe we need to try a new approach to this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting tired of watching the same rinse, repeat cycle of bullshit. But when you say that, all of a sudden you're a fucking anarchist or a Nazi or a fucking Proud Boy. And I'm like, how much? My track record speaks for itself. I spent 10 years doing activism. Half the time I didn't even agree with the shit I was involved in. I just knew that people asked for my help. I didn't technically think that it would even work or that it was worth doing, but I would do it because I was asked to help. You know what I'm saying? And that being said, now it's just tear people down. It's just a divide and conquer. And I don't understand why people want to do it. The cancel culture and, I don't know. It makes no sense to me. Like they all seem like they, it just seems like everybody needs a villain or something. I don't understand it. When they're not looking at the people that have been the same villains our whole lives. It's been the same people, No.
I want to add on. I'm glad you said that. I had Apathy on my channel last month, and he gave a great interview, just like you right now. And he talked about white privilege. He was, speaking about it. And when I put the video out, people on his social media platforms in the comment section, like, oh, you used to be my favorite rapper. You want to talk about white? That shit don't exist. Like, and he's laughing with them like, y'all really don't know your history. You don't really know how the system is set up. Like, and it's sad that when you have somebody that you love the music, but when they want to speak out about something, like you said, you were like, hey, you know what? The system is not right. This is what's going on. Oh, no, I don't like you no more. Like, okay, so you want them to just shut the hell up and just make music? Ain't nobody no damn slave right here. People are human beings. People have a right to say something that they feel, hey, I don't like this. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you totally. I agree with you totally. And then you get, you get the trolls and you get the people that act out. They like, I'm supposed to agree with you every time you say something. No, I'm not. I'm not going to agree with half the shit you say. You know what I mean? Like, like some kid on the comment section. Your perception of what you got out of my music or me just talking shit, that doesn't necessarily define who I am. That's just your perception of what I do. And people forget that they take what they want out of a conversation a lot of times, or out of a comment, or out of a song. They relate to what's convenient for them because it's what they relate to. You don't know everything that went into that. You don't know where my thoughts are, and people like to forget that, and they get very judgmental, particularly on the internet, because these conversations would never go that way in real life. Nobody would ever come up being like, you used to be my favorite rapper. I'll fuck you up. Really? Is that right? You fuck me up. Let's find out. You know what I'm saying? Let's see.
I'm sorry. It's the truth. That's all I'm laughing.
It is.
Ain't nobody gonna do that shit.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. I've had kids disagree with me at a show a couple times. They'll come up, be like, "Hey, I read this thing and she said this. I don't know about that." And it's usually a cool conversation. I'd be like, "Oh, well, you drink a beer with them, you shoot the shit, you end up being cool anyway." Most of the time these conversations go real well in person, but the internet's, the internet. It is what it is. People are the worst or the best of themselves.
Let them stay right there. And I'm glad you said that. Next, I got a funny question for you. Do you watch Marvel? I hope you do. I know you probably do.
What, Marvel?
Yeah.
Like movies and all the stuff?
Yeah, the comic stuff. Okay. Hold on. You got a song talking about,
yeah.
Okay, I forgot. I did a reaction on my channel. My apologies. That song, I love that song right there too. If you can compare yourself to any Marvel character, who will you be?
Oof. Damn. That's a tough one.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Probably Venom.
Okay. Okay. Why? I love Venom too.
Kind of an anti-hero.
I got little,
yeah, little good. I'm good, but I'm also a little. I do it dirty. I fight dirty. You know what I'm saying? I do fight dirty, but I mean well. You know, kind of a venom, vicious, but you know, not bad necessarily.
Okay,
but an anti-hero kind of.
Okay. What do you think about the current state of hip hop right now?
Oof. Well, I mean, I like that people can get their records out and be fully independent pretty easily. I think that's really good. You know, with all the technology and stuff, you really don't need a whole lot from outside resources to get records on the shelf, or, you know, get your music on Spotify, Apple Music, or whatever. That's a good thing. As far as the culture, I don't think there is one. That's an unpopular opinion, but I don't think there's a hip hop culture really. I mean, there's pockets of it, you know, like you got underground, you got like, you'll have like, you know, the Jedi mind trick shows and the Brother Ali's, and, you know, there's pockets of hip hop heads. But as far as the culture goes, something I realized pretty recently being on that app, what's it called? Clubhouse, right?
Okay.
I go on there and I listen to a lot of people talk. I've been involved with some discussions. And the people that are my age involved in the industry are elitists. And they talk about the culture, but it's almost like they're gatekeepers. And they're not living it. They're just talking about it on the internet. It's not what it used to be. It's not where you go out and meet people and you cipher. And then you got the more commercial side of things, the Little Yachty's, the Tekashi 6ix9ines, like a million rappers. I don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
I'm classified, like if you put my CD, if I pay the co-op fees to get my CD or vinyl in Best Buy or Target or Walmart, I'm going to be classified in the same section as Little Yachty. Whereas me and Little Yachty couldn't be any more different with the kind of music we're making. Whereas in rock and roll, there's 15 different sections. You have heavy metal, you have death metal, you have folk, you have country, you have all these different things. Hip hop doesn't really have that. There's no subgenres really. I mean, we've created them. Yeah. Fans create them kind of, but it's not commercially a subgenre. And I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what hip hop is anymore. I mean, I know what hip hop music is that I make, but I don't know. I see a lot of like, it's pop music. It's basically what it is. It's the most popular music. It sells more than anything, and it's basically become pop music. And I kind of think the culture died a little bit. And I'm not blaming anybody for this, but the second, like, you know, the DJ Premier started producing for Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera's and things like that, the crossover was made, and there's no turning back after that. You know what I'm saying? And it's just going to go, people are going to go where the money's at, and I can't blame them for that. But, you know, it's never, I don't think it's ever going to be the same, really. I don't think it's ever really going to be the same. You're just going to kind of have to seek it out and do your own thing, really.
Dig in the crates if you need to find it, what you need to find.
Right. I mean, everything's available. That's the benefit of the internet world that we live in, is that, you know, you have access to pretty much, I'm sure you could find any kind of fucking weirdo rap you're looking for, some spacey shit. You're into somebody talking about doing heroin, you could find it. If you're into somebody just making jingles that are good to dance to, you could find it. Everything exists. You just got to go seek it out, you know, which is cool. That's a plus, you know. As far as the culture, and I'm not sure there even is one, to be honest with you.
Well, no, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, you know, just I got to get your opinion about that. Now, let's talk about projects. Any upcoming projects you have coming out? Because I know your fans want to know, because they want to hear some new music from you.
Yeah, I do. I have one. I don't have a name for it yet, though.
Okay.
Which is kind of weird. I don't name things before I do them. A lot of people do. They like have this box they do. I tried that, never worked for me. I kind of name it as I go or afterwards. And I've always had problems with titles of albums. Very difficult for me to come up with something. I want it to be cool. I don't want it to be cheesy. I want it to be catchy. I can never really figure it out. So, but I'm like about 85% done. I've been slacking for the past couple months finishing it up because I don't know how I want to close it out, but I'm thinking the next few months I'll have it out.
Okay. Please,
Yeah.
well, I'll continue to be in contact with you because once you finish it, you have a video or something, let me know. I want to definitely, react to it, get some views for you. And I can also do a album review for you too. So people that are like,
Absolutely.
oh, he did an album review, like, so they can buy your album. I want to make sure I do my support on my channel for you, man. So just let me know
Appreciate
about that.
that.
Oh yeah,
I appreciate it.
no doubt. That's, hey, loyalty is loyalty, especially coming on my channel. I got to return it right back. And it's funny because I just uploaded a video on my channel today. 12 shots. I did a reaction for that on my channel. A guy named Lucky.
Nice.
He lives in, I want to say, Western Europe. I can't think which country off the top of my head, but he sent a donation via Streamlabs, and he requested like 4 of your tracks, and that was the first track I did was the 12 shots, and that was a dope track right there. I was like, damn, man, Hennessy, Yak. I'm looking like, hold up, tequila, all that. I'm like, I would have threw up after the 5th shot, mixing all that shit.
No, me too. Me too. I would have been done. That's why it's just a song.
I know. I'm like, damn, man. I was like, he said Jameson. Like, I was like, wow. But
that was kind of experimental for me. It was like, it's funny because like I wrote that song in like 20 minutes. Like it's, I usually write pretty complex.
Mm-hmm.
That's not like the way I wrote that isn't that complicated. It's pretty straightforward. It's not a lot of wordplay. I'm just kind of making mention of things and telling a little story, which made it easier to write. But getting my homie Nate to sing on there and the little guitar riff and shit, it was a little experimental for me, but it was an idea I had. And it ended up being, outside of like Frontlines on that record, it ended up being probably the most popular record on there.
Mm.
It surprised the shit out of me because it was very experimental for me. It was different. And it ended up hitting. I guess people can relate to it. They get depressed and shit. And it's really good to perform. You perform that one. It's a real good performance joint. It's easy. It's laid back. People get into it. It's a story. They can kind of immerse themselves in the song. It did real well.
Okay, well, I'm glad it did real well because I love that song. That song was tight right there. I'm glad how you put that together. Any rappers you would like to work with in the future that you haven't got a chance to work with yet?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Shit. I mean, tons of legendary rappers I'd love to work with. Crooked I is one I'd like to work with in particular, because I think we'd complement each other on the record. That's one I'd like to make happen. And we're actually pretty cool, so I think I could actually make that happen pretty easily. I mean, I'd love to get like a Busta Rhymes. Method Man is one I'd love to work with. Which I met Method Man a couple times. We kind of know each other a little bit. I could possibly make it happen, but I got to chase him down to do it. It's like Method Man's Method Man. He's out there. He's doing TV shows and shit like that. So
power,
a little more difficult. It's not like he doesn't even need money from me. That's the funny part. It's like he doesn't need my money, but I got to do it when it's convenient. So I gotta chase him down. So who knows when that'll happen or if it'll happen? But who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky. Step in dog shit one day and have a Diabolic feature a Method Man record.
Okay, well, I definitely would love to hear a track with you and Crooked, King Crooked, Bust the Bus. He dropped a tight ass album last year. It was real good work he put out, and especially Method Man, the verse he laid on Conway the Machine Lemon last year. He killed that track. Yeah. And he has an album coming out this year produced by Havoc. The whole album's produced by Havoc. I can't wait to hear that shit.
I'd be interested to hear that. Yeah, after what he did on that Conway record, I was like, whoa.
Yes.
What the fuck is Meth up to?
Method Man, fine wine. He's still I still hear, man. Ain't nobody about to blow me out the water. Thank you for answering that. This question is cliche, but I gotta ask it. Your top 10 rappers.
Oh, I don't know. I really don't do the list too much because they've changed. They could change. I don't know. I could ramble off some that Big L was one growing up that was big for me. I like Big L a lot. G-Rap was very influential with putting the words together.
Yes.
Rakim was a big one. I used to love Das Effects growing up. You know, Mobb Deep was a big one.
5,
Nas.
6.
Surprisingly enough, people are like, because everybody says it, but not Jay-Z. I was never really into Jay-Z. I always loved Method Man. He's the coolest rapper ever. Jizza was a big one. Thinking who else? I'm thinking like who influenced me heavy. The Black Thought. Black Thought was a big one. Taught me how to rap a little bit listening to him, where I was like, oh wow, just making it sound so organic and like flow and just sounded crazy. Old Eminem and Cannabis.
Okay.
You know, late 90s.
Yes. The old Eminem? Old Cannabis? Yes.
Raucous, first couple albums, but the Raucous going into his Dre, beginnings with Dre. Loved Eminem. He was crazy. I was like, listen, what the fuck is this guy doing? And the same thing with Cannabis, like Beast from the East Cannabis. You know, that old, you were like, what the fuck? I didn't even know I could do that on a record. It like expanded my mind. I was like, wow, you can do that? Yes. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, you know, we combine them all together. I love that right there. If you was on an island or a country, whatever you want to call it, and you only can have 10 albums, which 10 albums you gonna pick that maybe influenced you growing up, or these 10 albums right here that you know that's like classic, like, you know, nostalgic, vintage?
Liquid Swords.
Oh, yes. Hell yeah.
Definitely Liquid Swords. Illmatic.
Okay. That's the Bible to me.
Yeah, Illmatic. It Was Written.
Okay. Wow.
Put on there.
It Was Written.
I
Okay.
take that with me. Only Built for Cuban Links would go. It's a long one too, so that's like 2 albums in one. Maybe what's that tough one? Showbiz and AG, Goodfellas.
Okay. Okay. So shout out to Showbiz AG. Yes.
That would definitely be there. Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous would come with me.
Yes.
Like that a lot. Ooh, this is tough. This is a tough one. Just trying to think. Did I say Enter the Stage? Black Moon.
7. Yes, I love. Oh my God, that album changed my perception of hip hop. I was like, Buckshot.
Yeah. Both the Wu-Tang's first 2 albums would go with me.
Okay, that's 9 total.
And the 10th one, the 10th record, I would say Illadelph Half-Life. The Roots, Illadelph Half-Life.
10, yes. I love it.
I'm sure there's others. There's others, but those I'd be comfortable with.
That's fine. We about to get ready to end this.
Maybe Capital Punishment too.
Oh yeah, throw that in there. You gotta throw that in there. Yes.
Yeah, probably throw that one in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before we the interview ends, I just want to ask you just last 2 questions. This question is for you to give some advice to any upcoming rappers or any your fans out there. You know, just anybody that's probably trying to pursue to get into hip hop, rap, not just as an MC, maybe as a producer, maybe as an A&R, maybe as a manager. You have any advice for them?
Yeah, I mean, master your craft first and foremost. Be as good at what you do as you can be. Try to be very professional and efficient and reliable, you know, just like anything else you do. If you're baking fucking cakes, I'd give you the same advice with these things. As far as the promotional side of things, getting heard, that's fucking, I wouldn't know the first thing to tell you in the modern day because we're battling algorithms these days.
Yeah.
So I guess the best advice I could give you is to study up, look at people who seem to excel in that field as far as content creation and getting seen through the algorithms, and try to learn from them. different marketing methods. You know, there's a lot of different ways to do it, apparently, that I'm not too good at. You know, I just kind of got grandfathered in. And just bust your ass like anything you do. You want to be a fucking football player, break your ass, be a football player. You want to be be an astronaut, break your ass and study physics and fucking be an astronaut. You know, you want to be a rapper, break your ass, keep writing them rhymes, study, learn from other people. Don't be afraid to ask questions, you know. Find your style, you know, there's a lot that goes into it, but you got to put the hours in and the work in that's necessary, you know. But you know, there's no science to it. No matter what anybody says, there's no science. If you can get a bunch of money behind you, that might help. You know what I'm saying? But most people can't. So, you know, there's no real science outside of that.
Okay. Any last remarks you want to say to the people that's going to watch this and the new people that maybe you've never heard of you before, this day first time, like, who's this? And they get a chance to, you know, check you out. Anything you want to say to your fans and new fans?
Well, my fans, I appreciate you guys, man. I wouldn't be able to have my subjective success at this without you guys. And to people that might check for me, I would hope that maybe you'd give me a shot. I don't think you'll be disappointed, especially if you like people who like to play with the words and say clever shit. I'm right up your alley, and I'm pretty vicious with it. So, you know, some boom bap shit. You know, just broaden your horizons. Check my shit. You know, and if you don't like me, blow me. You know.
Hey, I'm glad you said that shit. That's how I be feeling too. Because I'll tell people like the video with shit, dislike it. I don't give a fuck. It gonna hurt my fucking feelings. Give me some algorithms.
Interact with it. Come to my page and talk shit. It makes those algorithms work. We like that. Give us some action, man. Give us some action. We need
it. Where can everyone follow you on social media so they can you know, check you out?
Let me see. Instagram, I'm pretty active on Diabolic Hip Hop. My Facebook is Facebook/Diabolic Hip Hop, I believe. And I think my YouTube is the same thing.
Okay.
I got, you know, that's where you can find a lot of my music videos and shit on my YouTube. I'm not that active on it, you know. I should be. I'm kind of wasting it. I got a lot of subscribers that I'm letting go to waste, but I didn't really get into like making videos and stuff and like kind of video blogging shit because I'm afraid I'll get kicked off that fucking thing because I'm a little mouthy, you know what I mean? And I'll start digging into the politics, and it seems like over the past few years, the powers that be at YouTube really like they really went after the political stuff, and in turn, it kind of affected us all. Like with the trickle down, with the algorithms, the suggested videos and stuff like that. So I just been kind of letting that ride, keeping it more for music stuff. But yeah, that's where they can find me.
Okay, don't worry. I'm gonna put all your information, your social media platforms, the names of it in the description, and I'll pin it in the comment section so everybody know where it's at. So I'll take care of that for you, brother. I just want to say thank you so much for coming by the channel, showing love, support, not just for me, but for the, you know, the fans, the subs. It was an honor and a privilege to have you on my channel. I can't wait till your new project comes out this year. I can't wait to review it. And anytime you ever want to, you know, swing some music this way so we can get those views, you know, support for you, please shoot it to me. I will always support and love. And that goes not just for you, but anybody always show me love through the interview, because I feel like that's like one of the biggest blessings to have for the channel. The channel is always open for you. You can get anything off your chest. You want to come over here, talk shit to the trolls, go ahead. I ain't gonna say shit.
You already know. You already know. Now, I appreciate you having me, man. I had checked your stuff numerous times prior because I check the reactions. I like them. They're fucking fun for me. To see somebody actually in real time listening to your shit, it's like, hey, who doesn't want to get their stuff heard? You know, like I'm playing songs for my friends. They come by my crib. We pick them up in the car. We go smoke a little. I'm playing, yo, check my new shit. I want to see. That's why I'm sending it to you. Or even if I email it to them, I'm like, yo, hit me back after you listen. Tell me what you think. I want a reaction. I want to see. That's why we do it. We don't do it just for ourselves. I mean, I make music that I like, but I want to get the reaction out of people. I want to see people like, not, yeah, you know, getting into it. Like, what'd you just say? You know, we all love that. That's why we do it. You know,
before I end this, my wife, she told me before, she's like, why do people like to look at reactions? I told her, I'm like, you don't realize back in the day when I opened up maybe like Liquid Swords or Cellar Dwellers or Helter Skelter Nocturne, I'm like, woo! Sean Price got all the hell yeah! Like, it's just the excitement, and to have your friend right there and he don't know, you like, hey, listen to this track, and he bought it. It's like, oh, like that's what it is.
Hitting the rewind, you're like, did you hear what you heard? What he said?
Yes.
Run it back. Thank you. Yeah, that's how we were growing up. That's why we're so into it.
Thank you for show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and enemy, King Kofi. We had Diabolic. Salute, y'all. Salute.